Good afternoon to you. Mark Stout of HurricaneTrack.com here. It is Saturday, the second day now of October 2021. Hope your Saturday afternoon, late Saturday afternoon, is going well. Time to talk about what's going on in the tropics. It'll be kind of short today because outside of Sam and Victor, really not a lot going on, and that's certainly good news here. We need a little bit of a break. We've been very busy this season, all the way up to our 20th named storm, and I think we'll have a bit of a respite, and then things are going to pick up, I do believe, as we get into the mid-month, the mid-portion of the month and beyond. First things first, Sam now no longer a Category 4. It has weakened down to a 3, but still a major hurricane. It's been a long time out there as a major hurricane. You can see the track here way up into the North Atlantic, and these will be post-tropical. These particular points up here are going to be post-tropical over the much colder water of the North Atlantic. Sam's going to undergo structural changes. It's going to spread out more. The energy will. It'll lose that concentrated core. The wind field will expand, and it'll become sort of transitioning into this more extratropical, a mid-latitude type storm, taking all that heat and energy and rearranging it. And it'll be a bigger storm over the North Atlantic, but it'll be weaker with the wind field expanding over a much larger area. I'll show you that on the GFS in just a moment. Then to the south and east, we still have Victor down here. It's a depression now, and moving off to the northwest, it'll dissipate over the next few days. But one thing about Sam, just to keep this out there for you, the swells that are being generated, that have been generated, those will continue to reach the coastline, not only of the Atlantic side here, but even down in the Caribbean. That's going to be a problem for people potentially on these north-facing beaches down here and some of the east-facing. And you know your area. If the swells come in regularly from storms in the past, then you have to watch for them from Sam, put it that way. So consult your local weather service products wherever you may be, and just be mindful of these big swells. I think tomorrow afternoon I'm going to try to go down to Wrightsville Beach over here off of my coast. I live in Wilmington, in case you didn't know that. And I'm going to check out the swell action with my kids tomorrow off of Wrightsville Beach, see what it looks like as these swells come in from Sam. So looking at the satellite animation this afternoon, courtesy of Tropical Tidbits. There's Sam, now down to Category 3. I'll show you a very interesting tweet here from Tomer Berg in just a moment about the life cycle of this hurricane. There's Victor. It was pretty much a naked swirl. Then there's just one little sort of meteor or comet-looking burst of convection. It does. It looks like a little fireball or something like that, but it's not. It's thunderstorm activity. And Victor is being sheared. Pretty big trough down here has been carved out in the upper levels of the atmosphere. I'll highlight it in red. Strong upper level winds over the top of Victor, not allowing it to do much. There's also strong upper level winds over the Caribbean. Strong upper level winds coming across portions of the Gulf. We're in this lull period now that Sam is headed out. Once we clear the pattern of Sam and Victor, I think we'll get a 5 to 7 day break where we don't have any named storms, believe it or not. I think it's possible. And then once we get to the mid part of the month, there are definitely signals that we are going to have to watch this area all through here very closely for more development through mid-October, maybe even into the mid part of November. It could be about a month of pretty prolific activity. 2 or 3 more named storms won't surprise me at all. Probably a couple more hurricanes and at least one more major hurricane. The water temperatures down there, the upper ocean heat content are all quite formidable. So, you know, we might have a break coming up, but that break won't last forever. All right, what else doesn't last forever? Well, eventually Sam has to die away, and it's doing so gradually, but it did really do some incredible stuff over its lifespan, finally ending the Category 4 reign, if you will, and having spent 150 hours as a Cat 4, may have even briefly touched Category 5. They'll go back and revisit that in the off-season. Could be interesting to see. And only behind Isabel, Luis, and Ivan, Sam comes in at number 4 as the longest duration Cat 4 or 5. And that's pretty remarkable, you got to admit. One of the things Sam did, too, look at this, is the ocean temperature anomalies. Part of this is Victor out here, certainly, but Sam and Victor both carving up that ocean there, removing the upper ocean heat content, as well as disturbing the surface water, knocking down those anomalies, and that helps to take the heat out of the tropics, as well as when it disperses it just from the atmospheric processes. Pretty cool to see that the hurricanes actually leave those cold wakes behind, but there's still, again, plenty of anomalously warm water in the Caribbean and the Gulf, and certainly up here in the North Atlantic, although that hurricane season time frame in terms of direct impacts probably as close to over as you could ask for, although those anomalies are very, very strong. Maybe we have an extended fall because of that. Strong high pressure over northwest portions of the Atlantic and southeast Canada. You get these big highs up here. You look below in the lower latitudes for trouble, and I think that's going to happen as we get later in the month of October here. Nothing out there right now aside from Sam, which is right there on the vorticity chart. There's Victor right here. And then in the Caribbean and the Gulf, free and clear, no areas of organized vorticity showing up. It would look like this, like we see in the Eastern Pacific, couple of blobs out there. Nothing of really any consequence developing in that part of the world. So looking at the GFS, a couple things to point out. Here is the vorticity signature of Sam. This is Victor. Notice how different they are. This is a well-developed hurricane, Cat 3, and at the model initialization, which was 12Z, 8 o'clock this morning, Sam was still a 4. That is a weak tropical storm, so you can really see the differences there in the vorticity signature contrasting these two different systems. Put this into motion over the next few days. Sam gets out into the North Atlantic, really transitions there into this large ocean storm, lots of isobars covering many, many, many hundreds of miles there over the North Atlantic, a huge ocean storm. And then a little curious feature tries to get going maybe in the next few days in the southwest Atlantic. Some of that energy kind of spread out there. Not really sure what's happening in the model. Hurricane Center isn't mentioning it, which I don't think it should be, because it doesn't look like much. Maybe a little impulse there as we get out to day 5 south of this little area of high pressure over New England and vicinity. A little energy out here off the southeast coast, but nothing to worry about. And certainly nothing down here in the Caribbean just yet. Just pretty straight east to west wind flow at that 850 millibar level through the Caribbean over the next few days. So we don't really have too much to be concerned with as we enter the first full week of October. But after that, I'm telling you, I keep reading about it, different people tracking this stuff, looking at the long-range guidance, the upward motion signals, etc. Later in the month, especially mid-month on, I think things will pick up. So enjoy the relative quiet, at least as we know, Sam not directly impacting anybody. And again, once that's out of here, once it's gone, that'll be it. And we can get a little bit of peace and quiet. I can work on some projects, get caught up on some things, and then we will wait and see what the mid part of the month and beyond brings. All right? Have yourselves a great rest of your Saturday. As always, thanks for tuning into the Hurricane Outlook and discussion. I appreciate it. I'm Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com. I'll be back with more for you tomorrow.